Hello everybody, my name is Solo and welcome back to the channel. If you guys haven't already, I posted a theory about what I think Eris Morn's fate's going to be. It kind of is also related to today's theory, so if you guys want to go check that out, it is a few videos down on my channel. It'll just be a thumbnail that says her fate and it has Eris Morn on it. But today we're going to be talking about the final shape and a theory of what I think is going to happen in the expansion. And while we're doing that, of course, we're going to be running through my favorite Lost Sector in the game, the original Lost Sector that they used to show you all the mechanics. And of course, as I'm recording this on a Friday and it'll go out the same day, happy raid day for all of those who were actually going to be going on world's first race or just trying to do it day one. I haven't looked into it yet, and I don't even know if I'm gonna do it for another week. So yeah, enjoy your time with Crota. Hopefully he doesn't come into the room and yeah, shove his sword where the sun don't shine. Anyway, so as we get closer and closer to the final shape, there are a lot of questions. With all of this going on, what about Elsie, Anna, the Drifter, and Marasov, because they've been quietly absent, except for this week. We did finally see the Drifter in the story this week with the whole Eris Morn story, and spoiler alert, well, the Hive thought, or at least Zebu Wrath thought, that Eris Morn was like the predecessor of Oryx and was gonna become the new Taken King or whatever. So that was interesting to find out, and then also there's a lot of doubts about her coming out at the end of all of this unscathed, which of course we covered in the last theory of I don't think she will come out unscathed. That's just my opinion. We also, interestingly enough, had a week where we did not have to do the seasonal activity, which was kind of nice because it meant I could just hop in, not have to do anything, and then hop out. So, like, the only thing I did was kill a few guys, get my thing done, and I'm pretty sure that was about it. But yeah, so anyway, let's talk about what's going to lead us to the final shape. So, and this is going off the basis that my theory about Eris Morn turning evil and becoming full on Hive and on the Witness's side turns out to be true. If that is to happen, we will be starting with the Darkness timeline. If you guys don't know about the Darkness timeline, it's the timeline in which the Darkness wins and basically everyone we know dies. Yay! um, it was first introduced in the lore book, and basically people have been making kind of like bingo cards and stuff like that just to make sure that it didn't happen. But one of the biggest things that kind of made it be like, oh, well, it's probably not going to happen was when Stasis was introduced. We didn't have this state of, oh, well, Guardians are turning evil and being corrupted by the Witness. And we didn't really have that because Elsie Bray, of course, stepped in and told us, hey, if you get corrupted by it and you basically let that corruption get into your brain, you're going to turn against everybody you know and love. Right? So she kind of circumvented that, and then there's been a few bits and bobs that have happened since then. Like we had Lakshmi taking over and trying to basically stage a coup inside the city. We had Savathun taking over Osiris and basically using him as a flesh puppet at that point. It's been nuts. But one of the bigger things is that with the final shape, well, yes, you know, we see it as the ultimate showdown between Guardians and Witness. I don't think anyone has really stopped to say, hey, what happens if we don't win? Or pseudo of we don't like defeat the Witness entirely. Because, like, you remember, right, we had the prophecy where the Witness goes in and drinks the light, right? And up to this point, that prophecy's been correct because he did open up, or sorry, it did open up a giant hole in the Traveler and is now in what we know as the Pale Heart because of, well, the trailer for not Lightfall, Jesus. The final shape showed us that the Pale Heart is where he's at. And that's where we're going off of. So, with the trailer, like I said last time, a bunch of main characters were missing, including Mara Sov, the Drifter, Eris Morn, Anna, and Elsie Bray. All of them are missing. So maybe it just didn't show them in that trailer, or what have you. But I have another idea. So, I have a weird feeling that the Drifter is trying to do what he did in the original timeline. If you guys don't know what happened, he basically ends up dying trying to turn himself into an exo. And if that is true, well, I'm going to be kind of sad because, well, I absolutely love the Drifter. And then Anna and Elsie Bray, I'm not sure what's going to happen with that because we did have the whole timeline of Elsie and Anna trying to come back as a family, right? And then Elsie tried to protect her from Clovis Bray. Clovis Bray came back to life and went, nope. And all that happened, and then finally they came out stronger for it and are actually still acting like a family. So yeah, that one's a little bit more convoluted, and I'm not exactly sure how it's going to pan out when it comes to the final shape. But one of the biggest things I guess I should talk about is the Witness and what I actually think is going to happen in the final battle. Now, they've already described that the final battle is going to take place in the raid, right? And in the raid, once it's completed, we're going to have another mission that comes out after the raid. And I've already spoken on two different theories way, way back. One was that, A, we're going to completely lose and everything's just going to go to shit. And B was we'd either we would win or like succeed, and then we'd end up in a different solar system. Now, mind you, both of those kind of have a wrench in the plans, seeming we do have the episodes that kind of hint that we're going to stay in the solar system, since Heresy, Echoes, and I forgot what the third one was, all have species that are tied down to the solar system as far as we know. But I have no idea what they're going to be doing for the next DLC, so I could still be right on that, but as far as like directly after the final shape, that seems like that theory is going to be a no-go. Anyway, with that being said, I want to theorize about what's going to happen during the ending of the final shape. So I have a weird feeling that the Witness will have the final shape stopped. Kind of. What I mean by this is I feel like what's going to happen is we're going to meet a new character who's going to be the personification of the Traveler, as we saw with the Witness. And as you guys know, it's the Witness is the winnower, and then the Gardener has yet to be kind of revealed. And I feel like we're gonna see that in the final shape. We're gonna see the personification of the Traveler, aka the Gardener. And with that being said, I feel like the Traveler will die in some shape or form. I feel like the Traveler is gonna die because the Gardener inside will die to the Witness. And then the Witness at the end may also die, but then that gives us a big issue with both the big powers being gone. And what I mean by that is, since there's no one to, I guess, control the Traveler's power, right? The light's kind of in a standstill, and there will be no one to control the darkness. So that will be in a standstill. And what I think may happen from this is that we will have new people, probably people who are with us, whether that be like Zavala, Ikora, what have you, who take the mantle of the Gardener and the Winnower, technically. And the reason why I say this is it all comes from that line where they say that the Witness is wearing the darkness, kind of like a cloak, rather than bending it to his will. It's not actually him, like the darkness is not him, or it's really just bent around it. And if that's the same statement for both darkness and light, technically, if both the Witness and the Traveler's personifications are both dead, technically two other people could take their place. But there's also the technically that can't happen because they have to be like on the level of gods, yada yada yada. And then that, I believe, would lead into roll the title sequence, The World Without Light. Now, The World Without Light actually spawns from a leak that happened years ago, I believe, when Forsaken came out, where they talked about a world where we had lost and the Witness had either won or something had happened, and the light and darkness kind of ceased. And this came into the saga of The World Without Light. And the whole premise of it was that like power levels would cease to exist. Huge overhaul of basically everything. And it would just be absolutely nuts. Now, Bungie has yet to hint at what the next saga could be and whether or not it'd be a big saga or not. And I know a lot of people tie that to, oh, Marathon's coming out. They're dedicating resources to that. But I'm going to leave you with this. If Marathon, like, I don't think Marathon's taking away resources at Bungie because they're two different teams. And whoever keeps saying that on YouTube obviously is not thinking correctly. Like, they're two different parts of the same studio. I get it was the whole meme that, like, oh, they're, you know, winding down, but you guys gotta realize they're also winding down from having this be a 10-year cycle of, you know, not being in their hands at the beginning to finally being able to make it into their own thing towards the end. So yeah, if they're gonna plan out another 10-year cycle, of course they're gonna plan it out better than they did this time around, because they didn't really get to plan it out from the beginning to the end entirely with this cycle. So I hate when people theorize that a studio is gonna give up because they've finished their first story arc. Anyway. But, so power levels would cease to exist, which we're kind of already seeing that with the fact that a lot of activities are going to be a set power and then be like difficulty enhanced based on like what difficulty you're playing. But another big thing that came with it was going to be a more like engine upgrade, which I think we're already going to have happen as well because, well, it's Bungie and they're actually pretty good about upgrading their engine, which as we know is called the Tiger engine. And by the way, logically, I think the next step for Bungie, if they want to have Destiny go forward, is to do sorry about that, is to do what they did with Destiny 1 and eventually drop last gen consoles in an update. Mind you, while this will probably cut off a bunch of people who have been playing on last gen, it also makes sense because then they'd probably be able to reorganize the game in a way that content will stay in the game rather than be sidelined after a while. And who knows, maybe they won't. But yeah. But that theory kind of seemed to fizzle out over the years just due to the fact that it didn't seem like Bungie wanted to like keep whatever that leak was the same. And mind you, this was a leak slash rumor for a while, was the World Without Light. But another part of it that kind of had me excited is like we finally see something like starships and like clan areas finally get put into the game. But again, that kind of fell through because that was supposed to happen around Lightfall and it never did. But that was also leaked around the time Activision was still part of Bungie, so. But yeah, I think we're going to technically win. And what I mean by this is the Witness will probably get stopped from doing the final shape, which is obviously killing the Traveler and then absorbing the light and stopping everything, right? But I think the Witness will also die in this process, leaving both the light and the darkness kind of just sit there. And whether or not we see people take up the mantles again or not is, well, to be discovered. But I really do hope that this leads to Bungie to be like, okay, guys, we're going to be doing a whole revamp of a bunch of, systems. And I don't think it'll happen with the final shape, because like they said, they're not going to be really doing a lot of system changes in final shape. But I definitely want to see them kind of revamp a lot of different aspects of the game going into the next saga. Because as we know, we have the episodes, which is, from what I can read, I feel like is going to be a lot better system than what we have now with seasons. Now, as far as as far as the episode passes are going to work, that I have no idea, and I'm a little scared for that because from the way I'm reading it, it seems like maybe the rewards will. Oh my god, my aim was atrocious. The rewards will be kind of like stagnant to the releases of the acts in the episodes. And maybe I'm wrong about that. Maybe it's just releasing more challenges so then you can get farther in the passes. It also makes me wonder if they're gonna keep the passes locked to XP, right? Because we all know you can get your XP bar up and that will get you season rank. But if they don't keep it to that system, that could technically fix a major issue with the season pass system, which is people on day one just spamming XP bounties, but also kind of messes with how bounties work. Because then there'd be no reason for XP. I don't know. Maybe they'll enlighten us more closer to when those come out on how they work. But yeah, that's my prediction of how the final shape will end. It will end with both entities of the light and the dark dying, and then either the solar system will like kind of have a reset moment where everything kind of like balances for a while until, of course, if you guys haven't heard, they're thinking about doing a Vex like boss or storyline after. And I think that's going to be really cool because the Vex is one of those creatures that I feel like definitely should have a main storyline. Seemings we still have no idea where they're made. Because originally we thought it was the Black Garden, but that wasn't it. That was just their like thing in the Veil, which was built for the Hive anyway. So I would really, really, really like to see a like in-depth thing of the Vex. And with the Vex, I'd really like to see them go through and revamp the Infinite Forest to make it actually infinite. And if they're going to do that, make it a roguelike type of an adventure where you can like go through infinite amounts of floors for the Infinite Forest. I'm sorry if it sounds a little bit weirder when I'm doing like theories and things like that. I'm just trying to collect all my thoughts with different parts of this. But anyway, guys, that's kind of like it for the theory. I do have a couple more in the pipeline, but I think I'm gonna save those for a while, and we're gonna probably talk about different news things for a little bit. I want to get a bit more information on different things, especially with this season, before we start going through and either making new theories or talking about what happened in the season. But anyway, guys, I think that's gonna do it for this theory. If you guys did enjoy, hit the like button. Comment down below. Do you guys have any theories you want me to look into or check out? Let me know. And also, don't forget to subscribe, turn on post notifications so you never miss a video. And that's going to be really helpful for days like today where I wake up late and don't have my video ready for 12:30 like I normally do. Because then you guys will be notified when it goes live. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.